Imagine walking into a room full of strangers. You don't know anyone. You haven't said a single word. And in less than 5 seconds, you already know who the leader is, who's lying, who wants you gone, and who can't stop thinking about you. This isn't a superpower, it's a science. And by the end of this video, you'll have it too. Welcome to Obscura Files. If this is your first time here, hit subscribe, because we turn the invisible into something you can actually see. The FBI spent decades training agents to read people without asking a single question. No words, no interrogation, just pure, silent observation. Today, we're breaking down their 3 most powerful techniques, and by the time you finish watching, you'll never look at another conversation the same way again. Let's get into it. Here's the first thing you need to understand before anything else. Your body is a traitor. Not to you, to your lies. The conscious brain is an excellent storyteller. It can craft excuses, rehearse emotions, smile at the right moment. But underneath all of that is something much older, the limbic system, your primitive brain. And that part has absolutely no interest in keeping up appearances. When your primitive brain senses fear, it freezes the body. When it senses attraction, it leans forward. When it wants to escape, it moves away, before your conscious mind even realizes what's happening. These reactions are automatic, involuntary, and if you know what to look for, they are completely impossible to hide. The FBI doesn't train agents to listen harder. They train them to watch better. And they focus on 3 categories of signals: signals of comfort, signals of discomfort, and signals of intention. We're going through all 3.
Let's start with the one that's hiding in plain sight, right at the floor. Signal 1. The most honest part of the human body isn't the eyes, it's the feet. When you talk to someone, where do you look? Their face, their eyes, their expression. That's what everyone does. And that's exactly why most people miss what the body is really saying. Here's something evolution never updated. Your feet are ancient escape mechanisms. Long before language existed, when your ancestors spotted a predator, their feet were already moving before their conscious mind processed the danger. That reflex never left. It just got buried under social etiquette. But it's still running, every single second, every single conversation. So here's the technique. Next time you're talking to someone, drop your gaze for just a moment. Not obvious, not rude, just a quick scan. Notice where their feet are pointing. If their feet are pointing toward you, they're engaged. They want to be there. You have their real attention, not just their polite attention. If their feet are pointing toward the exit, toward another person, or literally anywhere else in the room, their primitive brain has already made a decision. They want out. They might be nodding, they might be smiling, but their feet already voted, and the feet always win. Now here's where it gets even more powerful, in group settings. Look at where everyone's feet are pointing collectively. The person in the room toward whom the most feet are naturally oriented, that's the real leader. Not necessarily the loudest person, not the one doing the most talking, the one with the most subconscious influence over the group. And here's how you flip this to your advantage.
If you notice someone's feet slowly rotating away from you during a conversation, don't try to win them back with more words. That almost never works. Instead, end the conversation yourself. Say something like, "I don't want to take up more of your time," and step back. 2 things happen immediately. First, you demonstrate that you understand social dynamics, which is extraordinarily rare and attractive. Second, you completely reverse the power dynamic. Instead of being the one who was about to be left, you become the one who walked away. And that single move raises your perceived value in the room instantly. Now, here's a question I want you to think about and answer in the comments. And pay attention, because I'll be reading them. Have you ever caught someone's feet pointing away from you mid-conversation? And what did you do about it? Drop your answer below. It's a small thing that tells a lot about emotional intelligence. Signal 2, the body's invisible wall. And once you see it, you'll never unsee it. This one is called blocking behavior, and it's one of the most ancient threat responses in the human body. When someone feels uncomfortable,
threatened or unconvinced, their body does something instinctive. It builds a wall. Sometimes that wall is obvious. Crossed arms, a bag placed between you, a laptop screen angled like a shield. Sometimes it's subtle. A slight rotation of the torso so they're no longer fully facing you. A hand resting on the neck, fingers rubbing an arm, a palm briefly covering the mouth. These are all forms of self-protection, and the body listens every time. Here's what's critical to understand. Blocking behavior doesn't always mean they don't like you. Sometimes it means they don't like what you just said.
And that distinction is enormously useful. Picture this. You're in a negotiation. The other person has been relaxed, open, leaning forward. The conversation is going well. Then you mention the number, the price, the condition, the deadline, and in less than half a second, the arms cross. The body closes. Nothing came out of their mouth. Now you have intelligence. You know exactly what needs to be addressed without them having said a word. But here's the advanced layer, and this is what separates people who are good at reading people from people who are exceptional at it. Don't just notice when the blocking appears. Notice when it disappears. The moment someone shifts from closed, arms crossed, body turned, to open, arms relaxed, body facing you, slight lean forward, that transition is more meaningful than anything they could say out loud. That's the moment you've genuinely earned their trust. Words can be scripted. That shift cannot. And here's how you can actually trigger that shift deliberately. When someone is closed off, don't try to force openness. Mirror them instead. Drop your own posture slightly. Make your body language a quiet echo of theirs. Humans trust people who feel familiar, people who feel like them. Then, slowly and naturally, begin to open your own posture. Relax your arms, lean slightly forward. In a significant number of cases, they will unconsciously follow your lead. That is called mirroring and leading. And when it works, you haven't just read their emotional state, you've actively changed it. We're now heading into the third signal, and this is the one that makes FBI negotiators dangerous. The one that tells them with terrifying precision exactly when someone is about to break. Stay with me, because this changes everything. Signal 3. Everyone tells you the eyes are the window to the soul. They're wrong. The eyes are actually the most consciously controlled part of the face. People know their eyes are being watched, so they manage them. They practice steady eye contact. They blink deliberately. They rehearse that look. The eyes are a performance. The real window is a place nobody thinks to watch. The neck. Specifically, the base of the throat. That small hollow between your collarbones. Anatomists call it the suprasternal notch. Behavioral scientists call it a stress signal. The FBI calls it a tell. When someone is anxious, stressed, or actively concealing something, they touch that spot. Sometimes a full hand pressed against the throat. Sometimes just fingertips brushing across it. Sometimes a repeated rubbing motion on the side of the neck. It's a self-soothing behavior. The primitive brain trying to calm itself down when it's under pressure it doesn't want you to know about. FBI interrogators are specifically trained to watch for this during questioning. When a suspect touches their neck after a particular question, not before, not randomly, but immediately after a specific question, that's the tell. That question hit something. That question created discomfort they couldn't suppress fast enough. Investigators make a note. They'll come back to that. You can apply this exact same awareness in ordinary life. You're in a job interview. You ask the recruiter about work-life balance at the company. They touch their neck. Then they tell you it's a very healthy culture. You now know there is a gap between what they said and what they know. Maybe it's not intentional deception. Maybe they're just uncomfortable with the topic.
Either way, you have information you didn't have before you asked the question. You're on a first date. You bring up something casual, past relationships, career plans, living situation. One of those topics produces the neck touch. That topic is loaded for them in a way they haven't shared yet. You don't push. You file it away. You understand them better now than they realize. Now, here's the most important application of everything we've covered today, and it flips the entire system on its head. All of this only works if your own signals aren't betraying you first. Because while you're reading everyone else in the room, they are reading you. Every time you feel the urge to cross your arms, every time you feel the anxiety climbing toward your neck, every time your feet slowly pivot toward the exit, your primitive brain is broadcasting. And if anyone in that room has even a basic understanding of what we've talked about today, they're receiving that signal loud and clear. The goal is to become unreadable. Not cold, not robotic, unreadable. Keep your posture open, hands visible and relaxed, feet oriented toward whoever you're engaging with. Breathe slowly enough that your body registers safety. When you feel the urge to self-soothe, resist it. Replace the touch with a deliberate, calm stillness. Because stillness reads as confidence. Confidence reads as control. And control changes how every person in that room relates to you, without you saying a single word. This is how professional poker players hold their nerve at a final table. This is how elite negotiators sit in silence while the other side unravels. This is what behavioral control actually looks like in practice. Now, let's put it all together.
Here is the complete FBI-style protocol for reading any room, anytime. Step 1. The 5-second scan. You walk in, you don't speak first, you observe. Who has the most relaxed posture? Where are the group's feet naturally oriented? Who does the room unconsciously center on? That's your first read. Step 2. Establish the baseline. Before you engage with anyone, watch how they behave when nothing is happening, when they're just existing in the room naturally. Do they typically cross their arms? Do they stand with an open posture? Do they frequently touch their face? That's their baseline. You can only identify a change if you know what normal looks like for them. Deception isn't about unusual behavior. It's about deviation from that individual's usual behavior. Step 3. Look for clusters, not single signals. This is one of the most important rules. A single crossed arm means almost nothing. Arms crossed, plus feet pointed away, plus neck touch, that's a cluster. That's a pattern. That's convergent evidence. The more signals that point in the same direction, the higher your confidence in the read. And one final thing before you go, because it matters. This knowledge is a tool. And like any tool, it reveals things you might not have been looking for. You'll be in conversations where you can see, clearly and unmistakably, that someone doesn't want to be there. You'll ask questions and watch the body answer a different way than the mouth does. You'll notice things that used to be invisible, and some of those things will be uncomfortable. But you'll be living in reality, not in the version of reality people perform for you. And that is a genuinely rare advantage. This week, here's your challenge.
Go somewhere public, a coffee shop, a waiting room, anywhere people gather, and put your phone away. No scrolling. Just watch. Watch the feet. Watch the posture shifts. Watch the neck. Treat it like field training, because that's exactly what it is. The words people say are the edited version. The body is the original draft. Learn to read the draft, and you'll never be fooled by the edit again.